hope this is live. Yes, today was probably the closest I've been thus far to cancelling a video, or postponing a video rather, let's say that. Yeah, this week was a really tough week. As most of you know, my sister committed suicide in 2018, and this week a friend of mine's brother also committed suicide. So yeah, it's tough. But I thought I've started my page and my videos and everything for the purpose of I don't know, trying to help people like my sister was, that's also struggling with the weight. So yeah, so today's going to be an emotional video for me, so just be with me. But, okay. Exercising. Okay, now exercising was yeah, there's always a live video chat. Yeah. Exercising was one of those things where my husband and I disagreed upon when I started my journey to lose my 80 kilograms. When I did weigh less the first time around, I did exercise. I exercised actually quite a lot that first time around, but I wasn't that much overweight that time around, and I only had one child then, and it was just easier that time around. When I decided to join Wales again the second time around, I decided up front, even before I went to my first meeting, I told my husband that he must understand that I'm going to do this again, and that I'm not planning on exercising. And he was actually quite against that. He thought, in his opinion, I lost well the first time around because of the exercise that I did, and I exercised a lot that first time around. But this time I was so much more overweight than the first time around, so much more uncomfortable, and yeah, I just didn't have it in me to exercise. So I started way less without the intention of exercising, and I did quite well. I joined in February 2017, and by the December of that year, I've already lost about 35 kilograms. Then I can't remember exactly how much, but I lost quite a bit of weight at that stage already. And then my husband bought me a fitness watch for Christmas that year, for that December. So he subtly hinted at this exercise. Let me just get a tissue. So yeah, he hinted at this exercising thing, and yeah, and I didn't know what to do with my fitness watch. I wasn't keen on hitting the gym scene again, which was what I did the first time. Now I wanted something where I can chicken out if things didn't go my way. So I considered doing some running or some walking. Oh, well, I couldn't run at that, so I was still more than 40 kilograms overweight. Definitely didn't see myself running. I had no pants that fitted me. So I was definitely not kitted out to do any exercise. But I decided I'll start walking, and I started walking in my sandals and my skirt those first bit. So one thing that my medical aids benefits program, how it works is if you exercise for for 30 minutes or more at a heart rate of between 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate, then you get points for for that for that exercise. And up to then, I've not earned any points at all. So I thought I want to give it a try and see if I can earn some points. So my goal was to at least exercise for 30 minutes or more at a heart rate of 70 to 80% of my maximum heart rate, which my fitness watch could then calculate for me. Sorry I'm so emotional today. I do apologize. But yeah, so I decided that I'm gonna just start walking. So in the beginning, I just walked a reasonably flat route, and I like literally walked in the street here in front of my house and in our neighborhood. And then as time went on, I started, my goal was to keep my heart rate in that zone. So I would walk a little bit faster if I saw my heart rate went too low, and I would walk a little bit slower if I saw my heart rate went too high. So it was quite a simple thing to do. So I then that went on. I walked more and more briskly up to my operation in April 2018. And I didn't walk that often either. It was probably about 3 times a week. So it wasn't a lot either. So yeah, and then when I had my hernia up, I was in hospital for about a week. And then a physiotherapist tried to encourage me to just walk after the operation. And I think that's one of the things that helped me recover quickly from my operation. When I got back home, I started walking on the tarmac again. And that was tough because it was uneven and I was sore from the operation. And yeah, it wasn't long, and then I was back to walking at the same pace than I used to walk before my operation. And then I just continued with this walking up to that December of 2018. Yeah. And then my sister committed suicide in November 2018. And over that December, I had a lot of packing up and selling of things and work and things that I needed to do over that time. And I wasn't running up to it. I was walking quite briskly, and I've changed my route because I couldn't walk for 30 minutes anymore on my old route. So I've also increased the length of my route up at that stage, and including more uphills and things. So I was trying to make it more challenging. And one morning that December, I discovered that I just couldn't keep my heart rate above that 70% anymore if I continued to walk the downhills. As I was walking that day, I decided I'm going to start running the downhills because that seemed to me like the next logical step to do. So in December 2018, one morning in December 2018 somewhere, I decided I'll run the downhills. And that pushed my heart rate again up to the correct zone. And that's what I did. I continued, yes, in 2019, I continued running the downhills and walking out the uphills. Our area is quite hilly. I continued doing that until I could see I couldn't keep my heart rate in the correct zone anymore if I just ran the uphills. If I just walk the uphills. Running out the uphills wasn't as easy as running out the downhills was. I could do the downhills the whole way right from the start, but I couldn't do that with the uphills. I needed to sort of try and set myself little goals. So I would say today I will run up to this house, up to number 3, and then the next week I would run up to that tree, and then I would walk the rest of the uphill until I could get to a point where I would run the entire uphill. So, so yeah, it took me, by the end of 2019, I was running my entire route, my entire 5 kilometer route at that stage. So then in 2020, I reached my goal weight at the end of 2019, and what I can say is that I definitely lost slower when I started exercising. My husband, I wouldn't say my husband was incorrect with his opinion that I needed to lose, in order to lose weight, I must exercise. I think I would have been able to lose the weight if I didn't exercise, but the exercising helped in so many other ways. The exercising helped tone my body. It gave me some fitness. It also gave me a lot of time to think, and all those endorphins and things that come from exercising that makes you feel better and feel good. Yeah, so that's all great advantages. And when in 2020, one of my goals was to try and improve my running. I enrolled for a 10 kilometer race at the start of 2020. My friend and I were going to do it together, or the plan was to do it together. So that race, that 10 kilometer, was on Valentine's Day 2020, and that night, the night of the race, I was firstly scared because I've never run 10 kilometers. At that stage, the furthest I've ever run was 5 kilometers. So I was quite scared of this 10 kilometer race that I've never attempted in my life anymore. And somewhere along the line, I lost my friend Gloria, or she just said, just go and run. She'll catch up with me later. So then I was on my own, and then I saw there was this bus that was being led by a guy called Brett, and he was just amazing. He guided that bus so well that he made us walk when we needed to walk, made us run slower when we needed to run slower, or quicker when we needed to run quicker. It was the 1 hour and 20 minutes bus, and I finished that 10 kilometers in 1 hour and 18 minutes. And it was just the most amazing feeling in the entire world. I actually cried when I crossed that finish line. I just couldn't believe that someone who was once 80 kilograms overweight actually managed to finish a 10 kilometer race in a reasonable time as well. So yeah, I was hooked on running. And then of course lockdown happened, and I ran in my garden for most of lockdown, which maybe wasn't the best plan, but it kept me sane and fit for that time. And then I started writing my book, and I can honestly say that my entire book was written while out on the tarmac. I would run in the mornings, and I would sort of, it's the funniest thing when you run. It is almost like, I don't want to say you enter a zone, but like I'm running on my own in the mornings at the moment. I put my music on, and then I start my run, and there's times during my run that I'll listen to the music, and then it's sort of like the music just disappears. After a while, I don't even hear the music anymore. And then I enter this zone of meditation almost. And and that's where most of my writing happened, is in those No, and sometimes I'll cry when I run. People must think I'm pretty crazy when they watch me. So yeah, today I really said too much. Goodness. But yeah, I've just fallen in love with running. I never thought I would call myself a runner, but I've definitely become one. And I cannot imagine my life without it. That said, I really do think I would have been able to lose my weight if I didn't do any exercising. But the other advantages of exercising, um, yes, just by far outweighs, the weight loss advantages there are to exercising. I would say if you are in a similar situation, if you are, you know, quite overweight and you would like to start exercising as well, well, one of my favorite sayings is that you cannot outrun a bad diet. I think the most important thing is to get your eating right first. Try and get that out of the way and sort that out before you start trying to get the exercising sorted out. And then when you do start exercising, try and also to break it down. You cannot, I never just started and ran 5 kilometers. You know, I walked for 30 minutes and on a flat route initially, and then only I included hills. And so I did it so gradually. It took me so long to actually become a runner that, yeah, it's even slow progress is still progress. And you know, you shouldn't be discouraged. Just as someone once said, you should never be discouraged by the amount of time it takes you to do something. The time will pass anyway. So rather take it slowly, ease yourself into it, and I think you will eventually be more successful at it. Yeah, that was my little bit on exercising and running. And I'm so sorry for being so emotional today. This week has been, yes, was hard. But yeah, this is when my sister, when she committed suicide, she was about or maybe even more than 90 kilograms overweight herself. And her weight was a big reason for her wanting to take her own life. And this is part of why I do this, why I do these videos, and why I have my blog and my writing and things like that. And it's just to get a little bit of hope out there that sometimes the obstacle in front of you feels insurmountable. It feels undoable, but if you break it down and if you try to approach it sensibly and try to not overwhelm yourself by the task that lies ahead, I think you can be so successful. It is not impossible, and it's definitely not insurmountable. It's definitely possible to lose a huge amount of weight and to be someone that once was a couch potato, being just over 80 kilograms overweight, to just become a runner. Yeah. I'm gonna check if there's any questions. I haven't seen any questions that popped up so far, but I do apologize. Maybe I'll try and redo this exercising video at some stage when I'm slightly less emotional. But okay. Let me just see if there's any questions. I don't think there are. Nope. No questions there. But if there's any questions, as always, I will try and answer them when when I get time. Okay. Keep well and have a great rest of the weekend. Bye bye.